Actually, I will share a story with you about banking itself. Why creating a RACI matrix is not a good idea. We started with a little exercise. What do you think? What is the difference between those two roads? Both of them are situated in London, actually. Version A and version B, Brighton Road and Wickham Road. Any ideas? Can you spot the difference? Exactly, lines.
One is one way and the second one is two-way?
No, I'll tell you. Actually, the difference is these white central lines. And the UK authorities asked the question, which road is safer, with or without them? They wanted to experiment what will happen when they will remove it. So they will remove boundaries, there will be less boundaries, less detailed instruction. I'll tell you in a minute what happened there. But, well, it reminds me the exact opposite approach I experienced in one company. So, more details, more boundaries, and more instructions. And this is the AgileByExample conference, so let me share the story with you. I once worked in an organization where I faced the challenge of sorting out and clarifying what the new so-called agile roles really are and what they are really responsible for. There was a tribe structure already implemented, and of course all the roles connected with that. Tribe leaders, chapter leaders, scrum masters, agile coaches, product owners, and so on in place. But for some reason, people did not understand how they fit to each other and to the rest of the organization. As you can see, this is myself on the Zanzibar, and that's a tribe. I do not fit very well to that condition, as you can see. So, who actually is responsible for what? Because the new has come and the old still existed. So, what is the first choice of a consultant if it comes to clarifying roles and responsibilities? Of course, it is the RACI matrix. Hundreds of thousands of people have used this tool before, so they can't be wrong, can they? By the way, this is my favorite definition of the RACI matrix. Do you know this? Please raise your hand. Yeah, this is by Comic Agile, and basically responsible means does the work. Accountable takes the credit. Consulted has no knowledge. And informed doesn't give a shit. So RACI will do it. Let's just write down all the new roles, all the responsibilities, all the key tasks and decisions that need to be made, and voila. Nice and clear manual on how to operate in the new transformed organization structure. Although the subject of this talk is why creating a RACI matrix is not a good idea, well, in the beginning it worked pretty well. We started with the assumption that our RACI matrix will not be a detailed instruction, but rather a framework, a direction that will guide the organization and its roles, but will leave a space and flexibility. Why? In order to thrive the self-organization and collaboration. Just like chess figures, there are so many of them, actually not so many of them, but just a few different. Everyone has some unique abilities, some boundaries in their movement, but last but not least, a chance to win the game lies in understanding the connection between them, so let's say the cooperation between those figures. So it took us ages to craft the first version. You know, we included every possible stakeholders or their representatives, had hundreds of alignments and feedback meetings, and tons of different documents and slides. But finally, we thought we had it. The RACI metrics that has not been too heavy, too detailed, not too broad, that include both agile and non-agile roles, is ready to be announced. So let's show them. We published it on the corporate wiki pages, and we put special slides to our official operating model. So great success. Everything is clear, so let's continue our agile transformation. So what should I do next? But unfortunately, the longer the RACI, the longer it existed, the more concerns and doubts everyone had. The rule of leaving the space for self-organization and collaboration simply did not work very well. People started to ask, where is my specific role? I do this and that, so why I don't see it in the RACI metrics? Who is responsible for the internal processes, or architecture, or security, or production incidents? And what is really a difference between responsible and accountable? And of course, my favorite question, what the hell do the Scrum Master and Agile Coach do the whole day? What is even worse, from time to time, people were contacting me asking if they will be fired because their role is not mentioned in the RACI matrix. Or can I remove something because they don't want to do it? So, what's next? The organization came up with an idea to form a special task force dedicated to prepare a huge RACI update and include there every single role and detailed description of the responsibilities. So again, months of collecting details, alignment meetings, never-ending discussions about a single word in a RACI matrix in a group of 10 or even more people, and we ended up with 25 plus roles and a few dozens of slides. So safe creators could have learned from us, basically. At some point, RACI was extended to RACI. There are plenty of different variations of this tool. These are just a few of them. RACI, RESTI, RACIC, RAPID. Yeah, basically they are all means the same. By the way, S in RACI stands for support, which basically means nothing. As a friend of mine says, I strongly support, I really do support Polish national football team. So what? So please, let's just have a moment of silence here. So did the task force succeed and made it easy to understand roles and responsibilities with this huge updated RACI 2.0? As you probably already guessed, not really. Not only the reality of the organization still looked different than our slides, and also it raised more and more questions, but also a few side effects occurred. It became very, very complex, and it was really hard to understand with whom to operate and who makes the decision on a daily basis. So exactly the opposite effect. It also became excuse of not doing something because, well, it's not mentioned in the RACI metrics. And as it's the single source of truth, it turned off thinking. So actually, in the end, in my opinion, it killed the self-organization and flexibility and simplicity. You may ask, why did it happen? Well, probably, for sure, you know the Kinefin framework. And there was a wrong assumption that the way we operate in huge organization is in the clear domain, in which what we do is to sense, to categorize, and to respond. And that's exactly what we did. We wanted to categorize all the roles and responsibilities. But the more we did it, we fall into the trap of analysis paralysis. And actually, where most of the huge organizations are, is here, the top left corner, when the way of doing stuff, the way of deciding how to do stuff is way more different. So coming back to our example with experiment in London, surprise, surprise, research has shown that removing the central white lines reduced cats' vehicle speed by 13% and made the road safer. Why do people slow down? When you don't exactly know who has the right of way, you tend to seek eye contact with other road users. You automatically reduce your speed. So it turned out that reducing the details in instruction, how to operate, improved the flow and the self-organization. Or in other words, improved the quality of driving and collaboration, let's say, with other drivers. So, coming back to our RACI matrix, probably it is a good idea to give people space. Let them self-organize and collaborate, instead micromanage them and try to craft idiot-proof instructions. Otherwise, we will end up in organizations like this. Too many instructions will only give you an illusion of safety and control. As the experiments in removing road markings suggest, in complex situations, the assumption that people need clear and detailed directions before they can make any decisions is incorrect. Less instruction actually leads to better focus, better engagement, and judgment. If we give fewer guidelines and trust our employees to use good judgment, they will make wise decisions in the face of ambiguity and will get better results faster. RACI shortcomings are rooted in 3 bad assumptions. First, the needs of the organization won't change, so neither will the roles. We just need to write to them down, and once for good, right? The second one, teams and individuals need clear and specific instructions in order to get the job done. Well, hell no. 3, all the decisions are made using the same method. So, in example, by getting everyone with a letter C or R next to their name to say yes. So, in my opinion, the RACI model is a hangover from the predictable command and control work environment of yesterday, when projects used waterfall planning with specific milestones that could be predicted in advance. But in today's VUCA world, where solutions are unpredictable and can only be found by experimentation, the inadequacy of RACI charts quickly becomes apparent. So let me use an analogy. So RACI, in my opinion, is like having a drink with alcohol. Because, 1 or 2 tastes really nice and can make it easier to start the conversation. But too many of them only cause chaos and misunderstandings. So don't overdo the use of it. Instead, use it wisely just to start the discussion and collaboration, and don't forget to inspect and adapt once in a while. You may ask, okay, so what to do instead? And let me reverse that question. Why do you need a RACI matrix in the first place? If your answer is, as ours, to clarify roles and responsibilities, and maybe to make it transparent, well, sorry to say, but maybe if you struggle with dozens, to define dozens of roles and responsibilities, maybe they are just not needed at all. Maybe all those people are just keep being busy, but actually they don't do anything valuable. Again, the Pareto principle is ruthless every time. 20% of effort creates 80% of effect. I have my own very simple version of that rule. You can call it Pareto 2.0, and it says 80% of everything is crap. As simply as that. But if your answer is to build a team or teams that will create a valuable product that was mentioned so many times on this conference, so my recommendation is to start with the competency matrix. So find out what skills you need and form a team, like Craig Larman said yesterday, composed of M-shaped multi-learning product developers with, of course, shared responsibility of doing something that makes sense. And that's all, folks. Thank you for listening. If you would like to contact me, that's the address. You can get all the contact details. Thank you.
Thank you, Jarek. We still have a few questions to you, if you have time.
Yeah, of course, shoot. We have 4 minutes left.
How your story did end? Do you still use the matrix, RACI matrix?
They still use, but I guess the more they use, the less value it has. So as you can, our community always says, change the organization or change organization. So actually, I did the second step.
Accept it, change it, or change it. Right? Okay, so the next one, I get the key idea of the presentation, but how about people who do not do their job explaining that they don't know exactly what to do?
So the question is if they are needed in the organization at all. So they don't know what to do. Nobody knows what to do. So if the RACI will help, no, I don't think so.
Or maybe what is expected from me? I don't know. I'm confused.
So once again, what is the question? What to do with people that have nothing to do in the organization? Say thank you then.
Okay. Okay, the last one. Removing lines increases safety. This is reference to the pictures probably, and decrease speed. That speed decrease isn't an opposite or to what you wanted to achieve by removing RACI matrix.
Once again, if you can elaborate.
So we removed the lines from the road, which looked like it was safer, but people were moving slower. Is it like contradict to what we actually wanted to achieve? Like maybe we wanted to go faster.
No, we don't want to go slower. We just want to go safer, to have less accidents, less fatal victims, maybe, let's say. So the whole point is that you don't need everyone to have very detailed instruction to get the job done. And RACI matrix is actually what it does. It gives you the false assumption that if you will describe your role very detailed, so you won't make any mistake. And the whole point is that, well, from time to time you can make a mistake, but you have to be more self-organized and be in control what you do, having the view of other drivers, as the analogy says.
Okay. That would be everything. Thank you so much. Big
Thank
applause to Jaroslaw Łojko.